Episode of the Everblack Podcast is brought to you by Death Wish Hot Rods and Customs. Check out their Instagram for all their new t-shirts, caps, beanies, cups, and the all-new Atomic Death lineup.
Hey, this is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the Everblack Podcast.
Hey, human skull, this is odorous from Guam.
Going to the Fear Factory.
This is George Corshunner Fisher.
This is Jasmine Devil Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
The Magnificent Suicidal Tendencies.
Hey, this is Wednesday 13.
This is
Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is
Gary Numan from Sepultura. You're listening to Everblack Podcast.
All right, thank you. Not too bad.
That's good. What's happening?
Not a lot, really. Sitting here doing this all day. This has been good fun.
Excellent, mate. Well, my name's Nev. It's been a little while since we've spoken, but it's really good to talk to you again, mate. That's for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Well, first of all, massive success of Intruder. Congratulations, mate. I'm just seeing this thing blow up absolutely everywhere. And as a fan of Gary Numan, the musician and the human being, I'm so stoked for you, bro. Like, mate, it's huge.
It's gone really well. I was really nervous about it, when it started, because the last album did okay.
Yeah.
And I was worried that we'd go backwards from that, because you can. I've been there before. So I was a bit nervous about it, but I was really happy with it, as a piece of music and as a package, the artwork and all that, which I did as well. I was very happy with it. So it's always nice when it does well, but even if it hadn't have done, I was still content with what I'd done. I thought I'd done a good album. So the fact that it's done well, and like in Germany, for example, it had the highest first week position that I've had, including back in the day when things are going really well. So little things like that, they mean a lot to me now, because I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. And
when I had the initial success, although it was bigger than what I have now, there was no struggle attached to it. Did you know what I mean? There was no
absolutely
sort of long period of things not going well and having to overcome setbacks and disappointments, and just get your head down and just get on with it and just keep plugging away. There wasn't any of that. It just I found a synthesizer, and 5 months later I'm number one, and it seemed a bit easy. And and so I knew it was amazing. I really did, but it didn't have the same feeling of accomplishment that I'm getting at the moment. So I'm older now, and I'm more able to see it for what it is and appreciate what it means and enjoy it more, and I'm calmer as a person. I'm older and I'm arguably wiser. Do you know what I mean? But just more, I'm grounded, and I'm just in a really good position to enjoy what's happening. And yet I'm still driven. I'm still now thinking about the next one and what happens.
Oh, wow. All right, mate, I got to say, like, as I said, as a fan and seeing all this reaction, seeing your reactions online and what you're posting, it's kind of like watching your favorite team win. You know what I mean? So we're cheering with you. We're there with you the whole step of the way. So
that's lovely. That's really lovely.
What I mean? No, it's special.
Oh, great. Well, that is really fucking lovely, man. I appreciate that a lot. That's great. Really good.
Been a fan for many, many years, and you just watching you just absolutely crush it. Especially, this album is really, really good. I mean, the title itself, though, is, how can I say, it's very unsettling. When you think of that word intruder, you know what I mean? You think of, it can mean a million different things, but I guess being so it's a sinister title in the sense that it could mean someone coming into your house, into your space. But are you coming from a place of that this is humans on planet Earth as we are the intruders? Is that where you're sort of coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I've come to see us as. I've come to see us as, I genuinely believe that nature. Sorry, I'm waffling around the edges, aren't I? Nature as a system is very, very efficient. It's very brutal and it's very savage and vicious. Kind of everything eats something else. Do you know what I mean? Nature's solutions to certain problems are just brutal. We've got too many fish. Well, we invent a fucking shark then. Do you know what I mean? It's all nasty. Everything about it is nasty.
Yeah.
But it works. It has a brutal harmony to it, and it works very, very well. Until you put humans into the picture. When you put humans into the picture, then it all starts to go to worms a little bit. Mass extinctions, obviously the troubles with the planet that we're having now, and will undoubtedly get worse. And so I've come to believe that human beings are one of nature's rare mistakes. And I really do believe that's true. I think we were made too curious, too greedy, too self-obsessed, too clever for our own good. Combined with a ruthlessness to project, to explore, to expand. And so in that sense, we feel like a virus. We feel like an infestation, which is growing uncontrollably, with no regard for the damage that it does. Much like a virus would in a human body. It just lives to expand.
Yes,
and that's what we seem to be, using up everything in its path, killing the thing that it's living on because it knows no better. And that's what we're doing. And so the idea of calling the album Intruder for me made perfect sense. In fact, where is it? Yesterday, I've lost it already. Yesterday, I found a notebook that I was using when I started to work on Intruder, and I found the page of all the title suggestions that I had. There's about 50.
Oh, wow.
Different suggestions and Intruders in them. Wasn't even the one I ticked. So I ticked another one. So at some point I've thought, no, Intruder, that's the one. But it was there. And they're all trying to find that word that sums up what the album is about.
Wow.
So 50 different ways of trying to say the same thing, really. But Intruder was it. Intruder. Well, I was thinking about calling it Betrayal, which is the first song in the album at one point, because that would also make sense. But the idea of us being an infestation, the idea of us being a mistake, that we shouldn't be here, that drove me to think that Intruder was the best title for the album, given the content of it.
Sums it up absolutely perfectly. And mate, but I mean, of course, throughout the years, you've covered so many different subjects lyrically. Religion has always been a big one, and seems something that's really grinded your gears, and you've really stood up against. But also other things like, Alien seemed to play a big part in things too. I mean, where you sort of draw from the most with that, is that from where you were flying?
My fascination has always been, I think, human beings, and what we will become, why we do the things we do, why we believe the things that we believe sometimes. And so if you look at the last album, Savage, that was a climate change themed record in a sense, but it looked at the human condition and what humans would become in 100 years or so after the global apocalypse, and the brutality and the savagery that would need to be employed simply to exist from day to day. So again, I'm looking at the human condition. The album before that, Splinter, well, that's all about me, to be honest. That's about me and depression. But again, it's looking at a human, that was more personal.
Yes.
But that's, even, I'm trying to think of others now. Like I did an album called Jagged a few years back. And that was all about that was about all the terrible things that I've done over the years, all the things that you kind of get talked into, and you got all this opportunity to be a bit extreme in certain ways, and so you just go for it. And and all the things that you should be ashamed of, and most of which you are, but some you're not, because it was really good fun. Yeah. It was like a catalogue of, wrongdoing and misdeeds and shameful things. And so, but again, it's about the human condition, why you do these things and why you get into these sorts of things. So I think that's always been a part of it. But I am fascinated by what we're moving towards, where we're going. Even right back to replicas, and shortly after I first started, that this idea, that was all about what I thought London would become in 50 years' time. Handing over control to artificial intelligence and so on. I was very fascinated then by how technology would interact with people, but still what people would become because of it, and how our lives would be different. So I think if there's been any sort of recurring theme, there's something I'll sort of go back to fairly often, religion certainly, but as a part of sort of this constant study of humans really, and why we do the things we're going to do and where are we going. And Intruder is very much a part of that, even so.
It seems like it's maybe part of a trilogy. I mean, your previous album, Savage, this one, is it going? Have you got? You said you're working on something else as well. Is that part of that? Is it all connected?
Well, Intruder is. I actually signed Intruder to the label BMG as a staggered double album.
Wow!
So the one that's come out is the first of two. There was no commitment to make the second one the same theme. I'd make two albums, and we said it would be a staggered double. As soon as you make it a staggered double, there has to be a connection between the two, or else it's not a double album. The idea that I've been thinking for it is that the idea that what Intruder talks about is that we have been at war with the planet, possibly. When I first started talking about it, actually, I was thinking that COVID was arguably the first of, if you think of COVID as a weapon deployed by the planet to try to bring our numbers down,
yes,
which is possible. I started to think of COVID as being the first of many. There could be ever more refined viruses coming our way. I've seen plenty of scientists on the TV talk about this just being the first of many. I don't know why, but the idea that COVID would be in the first of many was sort of quite horribly fascinating for a while. But then it occurred to me, why would it be the first? Why could it not be the 50th or the 100th? If you go back, when did the Earth start to identify us as a problem? That isn't necessarily now. It might have seen us as a problem 200 years ago, or maybe even further. Over those many hundreds of years, there have been a number of horrible diseases come along, and done their damage, and we've fought against them. We've come up with cures or whatever. So it just sort of occurred to me that maybe we've been at war with the planet for a long time. We just haven't known it. Yeah. And so that's sort of the idea I'm thinking might be a good one for the next one. And it will be connected to Intruder, but it isn't the same thing. It gives you a different slant on it. I'm not sure how to go about that, mind you. It's all very well having the idea. Turn it into something.
I'm getting like really excited listening to you talk about it. I'm getting so excited. I'm like, I need to hear it now, but it's not.
But that could be one area that it goes into. This unknowing war that we didn't even know that we were fighting, but we have been, and it's going to get worse. Because it's so blatant now, that it's becoming obvious that we're at war with the planet. The planet. There's a song on Intruder called "I Am Screaming,"
yes,
which is the Earth trying to sort of make the point. How blind do you need to be? How deaf do you need to be? Can you not see? I'm giving you all these signs. In as far as this is a planet's way of screaming. in
Yeah.
your term. You know, the storms and the weather and the oceans and the ice cap and all these things. You know, how ignorant do you need to be to ignore all of what I'm telling you? You know, I am screaming, and you're just not seeing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, if the earth is struggling, if the earth has identified us, is nature as a system has identified us as a mistake or as an intruder, what mechanisms are there? Nature has mechanisms. It has ways of
Absolutely.
and dealing with things.
Yep.
Okay, so if you think of nature and the planet as being one and the same, really, what mechanisms are there out there to deal with something like us? You know, COVID could be one of them, and there could be worse ones to come, and they might come quickly now because now we're in it.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
it would give us a little nudge and a little hint and say, you know, you don't want to do that.
That little backhand is getting
Yeah,
harder every time. Yeah, that's
and
it.
now it was a punch, and then it was a full-on fucking thing.
Mate.
You know, yeah. Now it's pulled a gun.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just monkey's gonna monkey. You know, just eat your banana, sit down, shut the fuck up, and let's all look after what we've. Stop trying to burn your own house down. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
It's funny, man. Yeah, because I'm massively fascinated by technology. You know, every time there's a rocket launch, I'm glued to my television, and I'm so into it.
Yeah,
I love all of that, and I love that facet of humanity, this need to explore and just keep searching, and I've always admired it. But even now, even with all that enthusiasm for that, there's a part of me now that wasn't there before that is now thinking, really, you know, maybe we shouldn't actually, you know, for fuck's sake, sort this one out first. You know, you're ruining the ground you walk on, and you're looking for another step to tread on. You know, it worries me now. You know, I look at every launch now, and there's a big part of me which just thinks, we really shouldn't be doing this. Actually, my wife, I've been with her for nearly 30 years now. When I met her, one of the very first things she said to me, which I thought was shockingly horrendous, was that all humans should die. They're all horrible. You know, they hurt. It's all for her. It's all about animals. She loves animals, and she's very active and all of that.
she's a wonderful person, by the way. I've met her before, and shout out to your wife. She's beautiful, mate. She's awesome.
She makes my life worth living, man. I tell you. But yeah, when she said that, all humans should die, I just thought, well, that's pretty heavy. Come on, you know, step back and think about what you're saying. And now I know what she means.
Yes.
You know, she's not saying I want you to die or me to die. I'm not saying that, but it's a much bigger principle than that. You know, for the earth to live harmoniously, for all of its brutality, you know, all the animals that she loves tend to kill and eat other animals. You know, so it's this funny thing, isn't it? So that's protect everything, because if you protect that and save it, it's going to kill that.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, that's a bit weird. but that is it. That's what we have, and they, you know, nature should be left to do its own natural thing for all of its cruelty, and we are messing with that. You know, if you take people out of the equation, then the earth flourishes almost immediately. It flourishes.
I was having this same conversation last night with a band member, going, mate, if we all went away, the earth would be sweet. I mean, everything, you know, it's like that. I can't remember what that documentary was, but, you know, where you see all in real, like fast time, where everything grows and just grows. Mate, the earth would be like, all right, well, I'll just do my thing. But we couldn't, you know, bounce back.
No.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
But, man, it's, you know, it's a lot to ponder. it's a lot to keep us up at night. But I mean, the album, it's fantastic, and there's this, not just that. I mean, you've written some really great songs over the years that, you know, obviously the big pop hits and stuff like that, the big rock ones. But you've also written some songs that have really, for me, have really hit me really hard. Like One Perfect Lie. I can't listen to that song without getting really emotionally moved. Mate, that song just every time it hits me right here. And there's other songs like on this one, what's it called? It Breaks Me Again. I feel like it's got that same emotional weight in it. I mean, incredible songs, mate. Incredible. Like,
thank you. One Perfect Lie was about my dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We had to. It was the first time I'd ever had to put a dog to sleep, and it was horrific. And I held him while it happened, and it was just the worst thing ever. And I felt duty bound to write about it, and to say how heartbreaking it is. So, yeah, I've written another one about another dog that died. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It really upsets me. Do you know what? One of the songs that for me is probably one of the most important songs I ever wrote as for in my own life is concerned. I did one called A Prayer for the Unborn.
Yes.
Many years ago. We lost a baby. We were trying to have a baby and couldn't have babies naturally to begin with, although our second and third child were, strangely enough. But the first one was IVF. And the first attempt at IVF appeared to go really well. And it was all an amazing experience, and everyone's super happy. And then there was something wrong with it, and it died quite early on. But it was a baby by then. You could see it on the scans, and we had a name. We called her Elfin. And my oldest child now, her middle name is Elfin in honor of the baby that died. But I wrote a song about it. I wrote two songs actually. One called Little In Vitro.
Yes.
But the one that really matters was A Prayer for the Unborn. And that was back in the 90s. And to this day, when I sing it, I have to think about something else. I can't think about what it's about because it gets to me again, and I can't finish it. You know what I mean? It's a deeply emotional thing. So those sorts of songs, those songs that reflect particularly difficult moments in your life, that they mean the world to you. They're very, very deeply felt. And I think also, being able to write songs and being able to express those emotions is such an incredibly healthy thing to be able to do in a way. You've got all these horrible feelings and all this anguish and anger at times, and yet you're able to write it all down, and it's almost like having a valve that just releases that tension. You write it down, you get these lovely words out that mean so much to you about something that was so devastating to you, and you can just feel it exorcises all those negative feelings, and it keeps you balanced. It keeps you grounded, and it helps you move on to the next day. And I wonder sometimes if I wasn't able to do that, if I would be a much more bitter and angry person, sort of just twisted by it. I think being able to write is such a lovely, if you can pick a talent to have, I think that's a really useful one. It just keeps me together. It really does.
And then it connects with people all over the world. Like, as I was saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm some random dude in the arse end of the world in Australia. That when I listen to that, you know what I mean? Like, I met you a couple of times, but I listen to it and it's like you're my friend there, like with that arm around me in those dark times. It's absolutely incredible, brother. Like some powerful stuff. And I want to thank you for that. I know it's like you probably hear it all the time, but that stuff has been incredibly powerful for me. And it's on this album as well. I mean, you keep writing this amazing stuff that connects with people. Mate, it must feel so incredible for you.
Well, it is lovely to hear, actually, what songs resonate with people and how it affects their life, and it can bring them out of dark places at times. which is surprising, really, because I don't write happy music, but I think I write things that people are able to connect with, and sort of share a burden with, if you like, share an emotional burden with at times, and sharing it is a very useful and healthy thing to do. And if you can do that simply by listening to a song, well, that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. So, it does make me feel good that, when I hear things like that, it really does. Because I to be truthful, when I'm writing it, I'm not thinking about anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make anybody else feel better. It's really selfish. It's just me. I'm just trying to make me feel better. I've got this thing that's really bothering me, and I just need to get it out and write about it. But if beyond that, it has a life, it goes out around the world, and it touches other people and it helps them. And when I hear about that, that's a lovely thing. It really is. But I'd be lying if I said that was why I did it. It's just lovely to know that it happens anyway. I do it for me. I'm trying to save me to begin with.
But you're saving everyone else in the process.
It's lovely to know that happens. It really does. I had a really sad thing once. There was a lady who had a little boy, and they was in a terrible accident. The little boy was killed, and it was really sad. But she wrote to me and said, "This is a much older song. Every time she plays it, it makes her cry and brings her enormous joy at the same time, because it was her little boy's favorite song." And she would always play it in the car, and she would look back at him in his little seat in the middle of the back seat, and he would be bouncing his little head to this particular song. And I just thought it's one of the loveliest things I ever heard. The loveliest comments I ever got about a song, that it could do that for somebody that had such a tragic experience, and yet still bring them joy because of it, because it reminded them, it brought him back in the mirror for those moments. It was incredible. That one of the loveliest things I ever heard.
Hey, that is incredible. Okay, cool. Because I wanted to ask you about the this massive stream show that you've recorded, that you've filmed, that's coming up. I'm super excited about that. I mean, the teaser I've seen, the little shots and stuff look incredible, and you're giving away signed set lists as well, some merch.
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff going. Yeah, it's a whole massive package. When we got there, we did a rehearsal the day before, because I was a bit worried about my voice. We've been rehearsing in Brighton for a week, and the last 3 days of that I couldn't sing because my voice had gone, and I was really panicking that it was all going to go to sort of tits up. So I didn't sing until we got to the rehearsal the day before, and I was really nervous, but so we did that, and it was all right. I got my voice back, but then there was a whole load of interviews and behind the scenes footage, and I think, oh no, I'm just talking all day, I'm gonna lose it again. I was panicking a little bit, but it's really good. I mean, it was such a professional outfit that did it, and the lighting for it and the staging for it, and all the behind the scenes stuff. They had all fan questions had been sent in, so I had this big long sort of Q&A thing that I did, and it was all lit beautifully. It's a really, really good package. It's come out so much better than I thought. I thought it was just going to turn up, do a gig with no audience, and go home. I didn't sort of give it much thought, really, but it was a real big deal, and there's a huge amount of thought and effort went into it, and it's a really, really good package. I'm really proud of it.
We're going to have all the links for that down here too. I don't know, we're sort of like pointing down here somewhere, like in the comment. It's like, where? Like in the comments down here, I'll have all the links for that stuff, because it's right. Mate, I think I've got it here. I've got it here, so I'll put it all there so everyone can click on it and get it, because I can't wait to see it. It's for like a month as well, so you can watch it several times or something. Is that right?
I think there's a standard ticket, which means you can watch it once. That's it. Just like a gig ticket. But then there's a premiere ticket, which isn't that much more, actually. So it's a much better deal. And that means you can watch it for a month, and you get all the behind the scenes stuff, all the interviews. There's 3 extra songs that we recorded for the premiere ticket. So, I would recommend just paying that little bit extra and getting that premiere ticket, because you get 10 times as much for it.
Absolutely. That's what I'm going to do. That's for sure. And you've booked some North American dates by the looks of things too.
Yeah. That's not sure about that. You know, I really want to do it. I really hope it comes together. We're certainly going ahead as if it's going to happen. You know, we're doing all the right things and making all the right noises. But you never know. This COVID has been difficult, isn't it? Difficult to get on top of. And now, even in Britain, I read today that it's just picking back up again. America looks reasonably secure, I have to say, at the moment. But again, far from guaranteed. It's only got to slip back a little bit. And a September tour could be very much in jeopardy. So it's far from certain. But if it happens, that would be amazing. This is the longest period I've ever gone not playing live. And I miss it. I really miss it. You know, and it feels weird to have an album out and not be out there touring it.
Yeah, that's it. Like playing the songs and stuff. Yeah, I could imagine it'd be, like it's a weird time we're living in. Mate, I don't know, Melbourne. Yeah. Melbourne went on lockdown. Like I had my band was meant to play with another couple of bands from Melbourne, and they were coming up, and then they went on lockdown, and then it all, they couldn't come up on their album. They went in the arias. It's like, mate, everyone just needs to calm down and look after yourselves. Like, don't go jumping through, stay safe, people. That's what you got to do. But mate, Australia would definitely be hopefully on the cards.
I hope so. Yeah, we had a full Australian and New Zealand tour, completely booked and sorted just before the pandemic hit, and that obviously got cancelled. So now we're just waiting for the promoters have got to be confident. Yes, there's a lot of commitment to bringing somebody over, from overseas like us. So I understand that there's a certain amount of caution before we sort of press go on that, but it's definitely there. We're just waiting to get the word, and it will happen.
Mate, I will be there. I've seen you twice, and you just one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I love how the best thing about it is all like, the older material, you beef it up so much, and it's just the heaviness, and one of the best shows I've ever seen, mate. And I can't wait to see you again, hopefully very soon.
Oh, thank you,
mate.
That's it. Yeah, no, I do. I love it, man. You when you get into music, I wasn't dreaming about sitting in a studio for years and years and years. I was dreaming about being in a band, going on stage and touring around the world. That's the lifestyle that you choose. Yeah. And that's the one that's been taken away. So, a significant part of my reason for breathing has been taken away from me. And I'm feeling it very, very much. We all did. When we all met up for this streaming show, a few weeks back, we're all saying much the same thing. It's a huge chunk of your life is missing. And although it's nice to have been at home with the kids a bit more than we perhaps would have been otherwise, they're sick of me. I'm really itching to get back out again. So I think everyone would be happier to get back out on the road again.
Back into it. Yeah. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you again, Gary. The new album Intruder is out now everywhere. I'll have the links down here somewhere in the comments. And mate, you take care of yourself. You know what? The world, it would be a better place if we had more Gary Numans in it, because you're a damn good human being and you're an amazing musician, and that's why we love you, mate. So you just keep doing what you do, and we will follow you till the ends of the earth, brother.
Oh, thank you. But not to just to the nearest gig. That'll do. Just follow me there
and buy all the merch.
No, that'll make me very happy. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Mate. All right. Well, Gary, enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Pleasure. I'll speak to you again,
buddy. See you.